Come see us on tour in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only there.
This is Russell Dobular with Keaton Weiss filling in for Jimmy Dore. All right, so John Fetterman went on Fox News the other day and really showed off his moves. You didn't know he could move like that, right? That was pretty hot. All right, so once he got done with that, he kind of went full MAGA. So the thing that's really gotten the most attention have been his comments on the Laken Riley Act, which is now passed the House. It's going on to the Senate. John Fetterman is the only Democrat, or at least at the time of this reporting, was the only Democrat co-sponsor. The Republican-led House passed its first bill of the new Congress on Tuesday, a strict border measure named for a 22-year-old Georgia nursing school student whose murder last year by an immigrant in the country illegally became a flashpoint in the presidential campaign. The 264 to 159 vote to pass the Laken Riley Act puts pressure on Senate Democrats to support the legislation when Republicans, who now control the upper chamber, bring it to the floor for an initial vote Friday, which would have been Riley's 23rd birthday. All 52 Senate Republicans are co-sponsoring the bill, as is Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania. That means Republicans need 7 more Senate Democrats to reach the 60 votes needed to overcome a filibuster. In November, Jose Ibarra, 26, a Venezuelan citizen who was in the United States illegally, was found guilty of kidnapping, assaulting, and murdering Riley while she was out for a jog near the University of Georgia campus in Athens. Ibarra was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Appearing on the campaign trail in Georgia with Riley's relatives, Trump seized on the issue and blamed President Joe Biden's immigration policies for her murder. Trump's congressional allies highlighted that Ibarra had been cited for shoplifting by a Georgia police department, but that Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, did not issue a detainer for him and he was not taken into custody. The bill, authored by Representative Mike Collins, Republican of Georgia, would change federal law to require ICE, operating under the Homeland Security Department, to issue detainers and take custody of people in the country illegally who commit theft-related crimes, including shoplifting. All right, so this was Pramila Jayapal speaking on this.
So let us be clear. This is the Republican playbook over and over again. Scare people about immigrants. Never propose anything that actually solves an outdated and arcane immigration system that desperately needs Congress to allocate resources and update legal pathways to make the immigration system work for everyone. My Republican colleagues simply want to preserve a broken immigration system as a campaign issue so that they can scapegoat and demonize immigrants, all to distract the American people from their real goals of making working people pay for another Republican tax scam that benefits billionaires and the wealthiest.
All right, so be that as it may, selling the American people on the idea that illegal immigrants who are arrested for crimes should not be deported, that might not be the hill you want to die on, because I'm sorry, that is an argument that makes even Uncle Fester here sound reasonable.
It's really common sense. And I'd like to remind everybody that we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of migrants here illegally that have convicted of crimes. And why, I don't know why, who wants to defend that, to allow them to remain in our nation after that? And now, if you're here illegally and you're committing crimes and those things, I don't know why anybody thinks that it's controversial that they all need to go.
Do you think that this was one of, if not the biggest issue for this election?
Well, I think if we can't, there's 47 of us in the Senate, and if we can't pull up with 7 votes, if we can't get at least 7 out of 47, and if we can't, then that's the reason why we lost. That's one of them. That's one of why we lost, in part.
Go ahead.
Brett, if you think about that, I mean, that
in functioning brain speak, that what he's trying to say is there are 47 Democrats. Obviously, all 53 Republicans are going to vote for it. They need 7 Democrats to get it to 60 because it's not a budget reconciliation measure. They need to get it to filibuster proof. Yes.
Okay. So, hey, everything that Jayapal is saying is right in the sense that do the Republicans see a very convenient political issue here within a problem that they don't really want to solve? Very much like her own party didn't want to solve abortion until women actually lost the right to abortion. They wanted to be able to play on that issue for as long as possible. Sure. At the same time, you want to talk about taking the bait. You're going to be baited into arguing that you don't want to support a bill to deport illegal immigrants arrested for crimes. That, let that one go. Let that one go.
This is especially useful to the Republicans now. And I saw this coming a mile away even before the H-1B visa debacle. But I said they're going to have to make immigration a crime issue, because they're not going to be able to make it an economic issue. Right. Because Elon likes the visas, and Elon can primary any Republican he wants. So they're going to have to make this about...
They need to talk about grooming gangs and
they're going to
murdered nursing students.
Exactly. They're going to have to make immigration about crime and safety. They cannot afford to make it about how your jobs are being taken, because they like the visas, right? So they have to make it a safety issue. Yes, and you're right. It's a very effective trap, and what the Democrats can do
walk right into
is complain about the tone, which is what they did back in 2016, right? I mean, the extent to which the Republican position, more specifically the Trump position, has become the center on this issue is evidence of how the Democrats
Kamala was putting the wall in her ads.
Yeah, Kamala's putting the wall in her ads. The Democrats never came up with something. They never came up with an answer on this issue that made any kind of sense. And so this is a pickle they find themselves in now that is a decade in the making.
All right, so here's Fetterman going full MAGA and talking about all of the Trump cabinet picks that he's probably going to vote for.
Tulsi Gabbard, one of the nominees that you could vote for?
Well, I met with her. In fact, I think I've met with virtually all of them. And the ones that I haven't, they're on my schedule, RFK and Governor Nome. So I'm happy to meet with all of them.
I hate dogs.
And that's also part of this. I don't know why that was controversial. I mean, I got a lot of blowback just, even to meet with them. And to me, I see that as just doing my job. And I'm going to have a conversation with anyone that would like to have a conversation with me. And if somebody believed everything that's been written or said about me was true, I mean, you can't possibly know me, or I think I could know her either, just based on someone read. But I want to sit down and have a conversation, and I'm really glad that I've done that. And some of these nominees I'm going to vote for already. In fact, whether it's our colleague Rubio, our Representative Stefanik, or even Sean Duffy, I expect to vote for him as well too, and Brooke Rollins for agriculture. So there's a lot of them I can say right now here on Fox. I'm going to vote for them. But there's others, but that we're going to go through the process. But I'm open to hear from everyone, and I don't know why that's controversial. And I also would like to remind everyone on the Democratic side, that's the way democracy works. Trump won, and now they're going to run the table, and so they get to pick those kinds of people. And if you don't have to agree with all of it, but I want to find a way to work together on a bunch of them.
And I want to commend.
Okay,
RFK sent me an email, says I eat too many frozen hamburgers from Sheetz, and that I have to cut down on that, which I thought was a bit forward, but I'm open to voting for him anyway.
I wasn't able to speak so good until I started taking the RFK enemas.
Right.
Okay, so what is this Democrat? Why is this Democrat have such such a willingness to vote for all of these people on the other side? Is it democracy, or is it that they're not very far apart, really? Well, let's take a look at what they all agree on. Everyone he just named. Everyone he just named.
You're a horrible human being. You're a horrible human being.
So here are some pro-Palestine protesters being arrested, and here comes Lurch with his little Israel flag.
What do we want? Ceasefire! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Ceasefire! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Ceasefire!
So why wouldn't he vote for Stefanik and RFK and Tulsi and Rubio? They're all being handled by AIPAC and the ADL. They're all servants of Israel. The party affiliation is really irrelevant. They are all wholly owned subsidiaries of AIPAC, whether they're R, whether they're D, doesn't really matter. So finally, Fetterman weighed in on the issue that is at the forefront of the minds of Americans: what to do about the Greenlandic menace.
Go ahead. Can I talk about like there's a lot of talk about Greenland, for example. Now, and I know there's a lot of freakouts, and of course I would never support taking it by force. But I do think it's a responsible conversation if they were open to acquiring it, and whether just buying it outright. I mean, if anyone think that's bonkers, it's like, well, remember the Louisiana purchase? Oh, I think Alaska was a great deal too. $50 million, I think it was. It was referred to as Seward's Folly, and now that was Alaska now. So I mean, open to having all kinds of conversations as well. And now I don't think it's not helpful to freak out, but some things might work out, some may not, but that's part of an ongoing dialogue. But he hasn't even taken office in 2 weeks, and we really need to pace ourselves if we're going to freak out over every last tweet or every last conversation or press conference. Because, but
That's good. That's a good one, John. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Brainless wonder. Louisiana at that time, while it had been governed mostly by Spain, France had just taken it back like 10 minutes before the Louisiana Purchase. They had it for a very short time, but mostly it was governed by Spain. It was founded by France. Spain took it over for most of the pre-American colonization. So that's quite different. Napoleon was looking to get rid of it. He was looking to get some money to fund his wars. He had no real interest in it. The colony had never really made any money for anyone who ever held it. It was kind of a pain in the ass. Sure. I mean, if Greenland were in that situation, that would be very different. Similarly with Alaska, it was available. So sure. Greenland has this Commonwealth relationship with Denmark, which doesn't seem to have any particular interest in relinquishing that relationship. So that's not really an apt comparison. Now, should people freak out about everything that Trump tweets? No, but that's by design. He wants people to do that. That has always been his forte, to keep everyone talking about whatever he's tweeting. That's the point of it.
Absolutely. Yes. Agreed.
Come see us on tour in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only there.